Hi everyone, welcome to Kanuka Home Practice. Join me for this short power flow as we work towards half moon. So make yourself comfortable and we'll make a start. Welcome to today's power flow. This is a short and sweet 30-minute flow, and today we're going to be working on half moon. So we'll start with a few warm-ups and get going. And we can start today's practice lying down on your back in constructive rest. So making your way down there right now with the soles of the feet down flat on your mat and the knees pointing up towards the roof. And just noticing how far your feet are away from your hips. If they're too far in, they might compress the knees a wee bit. So just walking them out a little bit, giving yourself some room. Taking some deep rounds of your breath. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out the mouth. Continuing like this. Breathing in. Audible exhale. And just arriving on your mat for your practice today. Beginning to notice how your breath is right now. Can you make each out-breath slightly longer than the previous? Starting to let go of the day that has been and the day that is to come. The next half an hour is for yourself, for your breath, and for your practice. So if you notice at any time your mind starts to take you away into thoughts, which it naturally will want to do, just bring it back to your breath. Bring it back to the present moment. And there's one more breath where you are. And bringing the knees in towards the belly, give yourself a squeeze, rolling left and right. And then taking your happy baby, so you can take a hold of the shins, drawing the knees down in towards the mat. The lower spine can be grounded. Or you may like to wrap the peace fingers around the big toes. Rolling left and right if it feels good. And we'll take our bound angle pose. So the soles of the feet can touch, interlacing the hands over the feet and gently drawing the feet in towards the body. The knees can be wide. Spine and your back is grounded. Just taking a breath or two here. And slowly releasing, hug the knees in towards the belly one more time. And then we'll take a few rock and rolls. You're welcome to roll out to one side. Otherwise, taking a few rolls, creasing out the back, and just letting the feet hover when you get to the top. We're going to take boat pose in a moment. This next roll up, we can hover the feet, bring the hands underneath the thighs, and lifting the torso up towards the ceiling. You may like to point the toes. Just having a gentle grip on the thighs. We're not squeezing in here. We're just using the core to help stabilize us where we are. And you may like to start to straighten the legs. Bringing the hands down to the mat can help you for support. Pointing the toes, again lifting that torso up. Holding here for another breath. And bringing the soles of the feet down. And the soles of the feet can touch, knees can be wide. Sitting up nice and tall on the inhale. Breathing out, we can hinge over the hips. Finding a fold for a moment. Slowly coming back up, and we'll lift up the feet once again for another round of boat pose. So either here or straightening the legs up where you are. Hands can be down on the mat for support, perhaps at heart center. Finding your breath here. We're going to hold here for 4 or 5 breaths, starting to build some energy and some heat and fire. If you get the wobbles, that is completely natural. And bring the soles of the feet in to touch. Knees can fall wide. Sitting up nice and tall and hinging over. And lifting the torso back up. We're going to take our 90-90 pose. So your right shin can be parallel with the short edge of your mat, so the front of the mat, and the left shin can be parallel with the long edge of your mat. I'm facing a different direction to you are, so finding your 90-90 shape with the legs. And this is a pigeon variation. So you can use the hands down by the waist to help lift up the torso. And as you breathe out, you may like to walk the hands out in front in a diagonal direction over the right knee. And I invite you to explore here. Maybe you fold a little bit further to the right side. Maybe you lift the torso up and fold a little bit more straight ahead over the right shin. You can have a play noticing what this feels like with your body. One more breath where you are, and lifting the torso back up. You can bring the knees up towards the ceiling. And we're going to change to the other side. So the knees are just going to fall to the left-hand side. I'm facing away from you now, but your left shin is now parallel with the bottom of your mat, and the right shin parallel with the long edge of the mat. So just taking it to the other side, we're going to lift up the torso where we are, and again, hinging at the hips, folding over the left knee. And I invite you to explore this pose for 3 or 4 rounds of your breath. Finding stillness or using the breath to gently lift the torso up and finding a bit of flow and movement. Still warming up here. And then the next breath can pick you up. We can point the knees back up towards the roof, and we can sway them left and right, soles of the feet down on the mat, windscreen wipering the knees from side to side. And we're going to come into a supported half moon here. So this is the pose we're working on today. So we're in a kneeling position, and we're going to take the right leg out to the side. And the left hand, so the right hand can stay on the right thigh. You can inhale the left arm up, reaching for the sky, As you exhale, find a lateral bend, so gently drawing the left arm across the body, and we're reaching that left arm up in a diagonal direction, creating some nice length in your left side body. And the next out breath, you can place the left hand down on the mat beside you, keep the right toes landed down on the mat, and just noticing where you are with the right hip stacked over the left. Using your inhaling breath, we can pick up the right leg. Hovering here. Exhale breath, down to tap the ground, and inhale breath to rise. So we're going to do this a few times, flowing with your breath. Exhale breath down, inhaling up. Exhale down, inhaling up. Once more down, once more up to pause, maybe point, flex the toes and the feet. And bring that right leg down, we'll pick the torso back up. Find a little counter for a moment. And hands come to the waist, we'll come back to that kneeling position, and we'll take that to the other side. So the left leg goes out to the side. Right hand down on the left leg, and we'll reach the right arm up, straight to the left hand down on the left leg. And we're going to draw that right arm across the body, so we're reaching diagonally up and out, lengthening your side body here, taking a breath. And as you breathe out, we can place the right hand down and left hand to the hip. As we inhale, we can pick up the left leg. Exhale it down. Inhale picks it up. Exhaling down. And as you're flowing here in the supported half moon, just noticing how the left hip this time is stacked over the right, where your body is in space. And just using the core to help stabilize the movement of lifting the leg up and back down. And once more up, maybe pointing, flexing the feet. And down, we can bring that left leg to kneeling. And we're going to make our way into downward facing dog. Now that we're a bit more warmed up, so placing the hands down, spreading the fingers nice and wide, tuck in the toes, and you can lift the hips when you're ready, downward facing dog. You can bring a bend to the knees, if you like, and sinking your torso down and towards the mat. Noticing the space around the shoulders, the neck. If you feel any tightness in that area, maybe you can externally rotate the upper arms, which will help create some space around the neck. And if you're wondering what that motion is, it's imagine if you have someone on a yoga mat next to you and you're trying to hide your underarms. So you're externally rotating the upper arms, and that's going to bring the armpits to face more down in towards the mat. Hopefully creating a bit of space for you. Pedaling your dog out, lowering one heel at a time. And your next inhale breath, we're going to ripple high onto the tippy toes, bring the torso over the hands. And we can lower down to your belly. Inhaling for your low cobra, hover the hands. Exhale breath, hands come beneath the shoulders, we'll roll back into a child's pose. Sinking the hips back to the heels, reach the arms forward. And now we're going to snake our torso along the mat, finding low cobra. Once again, hover the hands, lift the torso, hands beneath the shoulders, and we'll find our way into downward facing dog. So we're going to do that motion 2 more times. So the inhale breath ripples you high onto the tippy toes into high plank. Exhale breath lowers you down to your belly. Inhale breath, low cobra, hovering the hands, torso lifted. Exhale breath, child's pose, Sink the hips back, reach the arms forward. Inhale, breath snakes your torso along the mat for your back bend. And exhaling to down dog. Once more in your own time, flowing forwards, high plank, Chaturanga Dandasana. And your back bend, maybe more of a cobra shape with the hands beneath the shoulders. And roll yourself back, child's pose. And snaking the torso forwards. Another back bend here. Exhale breath, downward facing dog. Awesome, everybody. We're going to take a walk, step, or float to the top of the mat, meeting in forward fold. You can bend the knees here if you like, taking opposite elbows and a big breath in. Exhaling it out. And we'll rise, pressing through the heels, unraveling the spine slowly as we reach the arms up. Exhale, breath down to heart center. Taking a moment, setting an intention for your practice, bringing in a moment of gratitude. Can help to bring a smile to the face as you set an intention for your practice. Being thankful to make time for yourself, for your practice, for your breath. And being thankful for where you are in your journey, knowing it's different to everybody else. We're all on a unique and different path. And it's great that we can share this practice together. Take a big inhale. Exhale it out. Focusing back on the breath, we can inhale the arms up, softening the knees as we reach to the sky. And hinging at the hips, slowly finding your forward fold. Uttanasana. Inhale breath, halfway lift. And exhale, we'll step back, finding your downward facing dog, Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Sinking the heels down one at a time, the torso lowers down. And inhale breath, right leg high, three-legged dog. And exhaling, step it through. We'll spiral the back heel down, finding warrior two. So open the hips up, peel the arms open, gazing beyond the front middle finger. Finding a couple of breaths where you are. And then hands can come to the hips. We're going to pivot to face the long edge of your mat. And we're going to find our wide-legged forward fold here. So you can bring a soft bend into the knees from a nice tall position. Hinging over as you exhale, fold. Inhaling, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale to fold. And inhaling to rise, hands come to the hips. We're going to send our feet to the back of your mat, so you can step in halfway or do it in one motion. Stepping to the back of the mat, we're going to lift the right foot, finding your tree pose. So 3 options. Your right toes can be balanced on the ground for support, and the sole of the foot into the calf or into the thigh. Hands come to prayer, finding a moment of balance. And gently releasing the foot, we're going to open that right leg back up to face the long edge of the mat and finding our goddess pose or cactus arms, sinking the hips down, bending into the knees and swaying left and right. And we can raise the torso back up, hands come to the hips. We're going to pivot the feet to face the front of the mat now, and we can step in the back foot halfway. The right hand comes to the right knee for support. And we're just going to come onto the tippy toes of the back foot. Have a soft bend in the right knee. And we're going to start into our half moon here. So if you'd like to stay here with the left toe planted on the ground for support, you're more than welcome. Otherwise, taking flight. And just honoring where you are. There's no goal or target, but if you are feeling like you have to balance and you want to lower the torso down as you raise the back foot, if you have a block or something handy in front of you, really great. Or you can have your right hand planted down on the mat, just in front of you for balance. Maybe you peel that left arm up towards the ceiling, and the gaze can be out to the side, finding your half moon Ardha Chandrasana. And we can land that back foot towards the back of the mat. Warrior two, the right leg is forward, finding a few pulses. And the next breath, we can windmill the hands down to the mat, stepping back, high plank. And we'll flow through our vinyasa, so lower down slowly to the belly, elbows brush the side body. Inhaling for your cobra. Exhale, breath, down dog. Taking a breath or two in your downward dog, pedaling your dog out. We're going to take that to the other side. And then we'll wind things down. So inhaling the left leg high, three-legged dog. And gently step it through in between the hands. Spiral the back heel down, peel the arms open, warrior two, front knee over the front ankle, and just externally rotating the front knee out just a wee bit, finding your alignment. Hands come to the waist. We're going to pivot to face the long edge of the mat, soft bend in the knees, inhaling up, exhale to fold. The right hand plants down, left arm swings up to the ceiling for a twist. Left hand comes down, right arm up to the ceiling. Once more on each side, so the right hand down, left arm up. And left hand down, right arm up. And we can slowly raise the torso back up, hands to the hips. And you can do this next motion in one move. We're going to come to the back of the mat, so you can step to the back of the mat, finding your tree pose. So take one of the three levels we played with on that first round. Hands to prayer at heart center, finding some balance. Finding your breath. And if you fall at any time, you can come out and gently make your way back into the pose. We can release the foot. And we're going to step that left foot open to the long edge of the mat, bending into the knees, sinking the hips down, finding our cactus shape or goddess pose, sinking the hips down. Inhale, breath lifts you up. Exhale, breath sinks you down. And we can slowly lift up, straightening the legs, and we're going to pivot the feet to face the top or the front of your mat. You can step that back foot in halfway, both hands on the hips. The left hand comes down to the left knee. And finding your half moon variation, so you can have the right toes just hovering or gently touching down on the mat. Making sure that the right hip is stacked over the left to begin. And if you'd like to take flight into your half moon, picking up that right leg, the left hand can come down to the ground for support or hovering. Maybe the gaze is down to the ground in front of you. And if you'd like, you can peel the right arm up. And maybe gazing out to the side. Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. A challenging pose, take your time with it, have a play. One more breath where you are. And then we can land that back foot towards the back of the mat, pressing the outer edge of the back foot down, peel the arms open, bend into the front knee, warrior two. And cartwheeling the hands down to the mat, we'll step the left foot back this time, high plank, and chaturanga dandasana, lower down to the belly. Finding your upward facing dog this time, lifting the knees and the quads off the mat, tops of the feet, pressing down into the mat. And we can roll yourself back onto your kneeling position, your Vajrasana. Hands resting on the thighs. Inhale the shoulders up towards the ears, roll them back and down. Twice more, inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhaling up. Exhale them down. And we can come onto all fours. And inhale, breath lifts the right arm up to the ceiling. And we can thread that right arm underneath the left shoulder. Thread the needle. That right shoulder comes down. Left hand out in front for support. Just finding a couple of breaths here. Walking that left hand back beside the face, pressing it down through the left hand as we make space, unthreading the right arm, reach that back up. And the right hand comes down, inhale breath, picks up the left, and thread the left arm underneath the right shoulder, placing that left shoulder down. The right hand comes out in front for support, finding a breath. And walking that right hand back towards the face, pressing down through the right hand, create some space, and unravel the left arm up towards the ceiling, and left hand comes down. And we're going to make our way to a seated position, your comfortable seat, removing the fleshy parts from underneath your sitting bones, hands resting on the knees, and have the palms facing up towards the ceiling, which will help open the shoulders, lifting up through the crown of the head, the spine is long, gentle tuck of the chin. And we'll take a few rounds of your breath, inhaling through the nose, exhale out, breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and out. We'll seal the practice today with a shared breath together, meeting the hands at heart center and just letting go of your breath completely. Take a big inhale through the nose, sigh out the mouth. From my heart to yours, namaste. Thanks for joining today's class. Have a great rest of your day, and I look forward to seeing you on Kanuka Home Practice again soon.